I have no words I can say about this movie. That in fact, it is like, if like one of the worst Steven Seagal movies I have ever watched. Attack Force. Why is this called Attack Force? I have no idea why. And why is... And Steven Seagal, he doesn't use any of these, like, these guns, like, right there he's holding, or an explosion like that. That's not in the movie either. And I like they try to make him look thinner on this, which actually he's a fucking fat ass, you know, he is. I keep on saying time again, oh, am I being too harsh? Well, the thing is, like I said, Steven Seagal, he treats everybody like shit, so why should I treat him like shit, you know? Okay? If he doesn't give a damn, then I should not care either. And the thing is, it could have been interesting, just like with Submerged, because, well, the thing is, he doesn't like doing creature features. That's why. Okay, like with Submerged, it was supposed to be like a creature feature in a submarine. That would have been cool. Yeah, the director of Hellraiser 3 and Waxwork making it, but no, Steven Seagal didn't want to do that. So they just pulled the script out of their ass to make that shitty movie. And it's kind of like the same thing with this. You know, I think it was kind of going to do with aliens, though, but I mean, see, like I said, at this point, I don't think it's not the director's fault anymore, because this is directed by the same guy who directed the previous movie of Shadow Man, and then the next one after this, Flight of Fury. At this point, I just think it's not the director's fault. It's not. I think it's just Steven Seagal. He's the problem of every single one of his movies. You know, such like a freaking control freak, and like I said, this director. You know, I kind of felt sorry for, because I think it's because of Seagal, he's been driven the fact he's been addicted to painkillers. Michael Keusch, you know. I'm like, what? After the first one of Shadow Man, why would this guy work with Steven Seagal again for 2 more movies? This film was so infuriating, so atrocious, so because Steven Seagal, you know, he doesn't do anything in this movie, and especially he doesn't appear. He disappears for pretty much half the freaking movie, and yeah, he's a star. He does his name. He's on the cover, and you know, and all his stand-ins, you know, whatever it is, he should should have a credit on this movie. You know, the name of the guy and the name, you know, and okay, start from the top. Start from the top. Originally, it was going to be called Harvester, and was gonna have with aliens, right? Like I said. And the bad guy, this woman bad guy, who was supposed to be like an alien queen, right? You know, this kind of would sound interesting, you know. But, you know, Steven Seagal, like, was Submerged, a creature feature in a submarine, no? But he got butthurt about it, didn't want to do that. Same here with aliens. He gets all butthurt about doing it, you know? He's like, what is wrong with Steven Seagal doing, like, out-of-the-norm type action movies, you know? I think because, did he say he liked Predator 2? Because in this film, or I should say Stand or whatever, has like a gauntlet, has one of those claw things like what the Predator does, right? I'm like, if he's a fan of Predator 2, which I'm all for, because I love Predator 2. I have a poster right there, you know? You can see right there, right? Where I'm pointing at. Most underrated sequel of all time, right? But what is this problem about not doing with aliens anyway? So, and critics and fans, you know, we're not loving it. We're not loving it either, especially with other actors that, because once again, bad dubbing ADR of Steven Seagal is not his voice, which I'm so sick and damn tired because Steven Seagal, he's such a lazy fat ass that he does not give a damn anymore. He's having all these stand-ins coming in for him, not doing his fights, and has someone else dub his own freaking voice, you know. Like I said, I don't hold back on Steven Seagal anymore, okay? Because if he treats everybody like shit, why should I treat him like shit? Why? Why should I do the same? Like I keep saying time and time again, you know, this is how far gone he has fallen, okay? Because I love his movies from back in the day, from the 90s, late 80s to the 90s. You know, I keep saying time again, now, and it does bear repeating, okay? You know, I wish I could have that Steven Seagal we saw back then, from Above the Law to Hard to Kill, Marked for Death, Out for Justice, Under Siege 2, The Glimmer Man, Fire Down Below, like I said, Fire Down Below and Undeadly Ground. They're not bad movies, okay? I don't think they're not as bad as people make it out, or let alone critics make them out to be. Or The Glimmer Man, you know? I like Fire Down Below. I like Undeadly Ground. The Glimmer Man I like. Exit Wounds I liked as well. But then from then on he did The Patriot, and then he did Ticker, and then Half Past Dead, and then from then onwards the start of his direct-to-video movies, which I know The Patriot was direct-to-video as well, and Ticker I think it was. But from 2003, from The Foreigner, and then to here upwards, from ever since then, have another but shit after shit after shit after shit. I did like Into the Sun. I do admit I did like Into the Sun. There was another one couple I'll get into later, like Urban Justice I liked, and I think Pistol Whipped was the only one I did not mind either. But that's like 99% of his movies that are shit, you know. That's like the 1% of films I liked. Like not even a handful, just like basically 3 of them I liked, basically. From Belly of the Beast, Out of Reach, The Foreigner, Black Dawn, Shadow Man, which that was completely forgettable. That's why I couldn't remember much of that movie anyway. It just clarifies how forgettable that movie was, Shadow Man. Yeah, Steven Seagal, stick to the shadows and disappear and don't come back again. Okay? You're not the same person that you used to be, well, action star he was as used to be, but the thing is, like, he still has his freaking ego so far big in his ass and stuff in his face for freaking McDonald's every day, you know. It just doesn't say how lazy this film is. I mean, like I said, he doesn't appear for pretty much like over 50% of this movie. And it's like this is literally one of his worst ever. At least the next one, Flare Fury, it didn't piss me off that much, you know. It didn't. But that film, which that's coming up next, that had to use a whole lot of stock footage from other movies because basically the same director of this movie did not want to work with Seagal, so that's why they used some other stock footage from other movies, which You'll see when I get to the review, so you'll see on that. But what else stuff like this? Like I said, it's been the screenwriter of the film, Joe Haplin, who I mentioned before. He said it was going to be was originally going to be a sci-fi horror film with aliens called Harvester. And Steven Seagal and his men battling an invading force of vampire aliens, right? Like I said, that idea could have been cool, you know, like same with Submerged. Basically John Carpenter's The Thing in a submarine. But moving on. After Seagal, Haplin, and director Michael Keusch had delivered the finished sci-fi film, the production and distributing company decided to eliminate the alien elements and replace them with another plot of a super addictive drug that turns its users into superhuman killers. And they called a few lower paid actors for reshoots, because when you watch this film, you can obviously there were things that were shot afterwards. You can clearly see that, the reshoots and stuff, the redubbing of majority of Steven Seagal's dialogue via ADR, yeah, of course. Re-edit the film and change it into Attack Force. So you have all that, and just like I said, yeah, the reshoots and stuff, and basically, they just threw out a cool idea and just came up with pulled up another out of their ass script, and once again, what was it? Steven Seagal. He's either I'm tired of this him being like CIA or FBI, whatever it is. He's like pretty much playing the same person every other of his movies, you know. So, I'm getting a freaking headache now. I'm just yelling and screaming so much. Freaking enraged. I'm getting myself a freaking headache now. You know, like, I thought this is the point where this is going to be the last 1 hour review because I couldn't take any more of these movies. But I'm still continuing on. I'm putting myself through KC because you guys like to see these reviews. So, like I said, I'm committed, you know. But jeez, criminy man. I thought this was the one that was gonna break me because this is like one of the worst movies he's ever done. Even after watching the other ones, this is why I know I'm getting in, but there's still more to talk about here. I think that Dolph Lundgren and Jean-Claude Van Damme, they have much better track records than this asshole is. That's what he is. He is an asshole. So I'm tired of holding myself back on this stuff. I'm not being nice anymore. Okay, Dolph Lundgren with this he has a better track record. Look at Command Performance, The Defender, and The Russian Specialist, and Skin Trade, Battle of the Damned, right? Those are all. But although he's not perfect either, he's made some pretty bad ones as well, Dolph Lundgren. But still, the films I like is better than any of Seagal's movies. Van Damme, I like The Order with him and Charlton Heston. I liked Six Bullets. I like I enjoy the Shepherd Border Patrol. Wake of Death, In Hell. You know, and especially he shows Van Damme and also JCVD, which he said he should have been nominated for an Oscar for that movie, which he should have. You know, Van Damme shows more emotion and more charisma, let alone emotion, like I said, more than Seagal does. Because Seagal is the same face he does every single time. No emotion at all. Just going through, basically sleepwalking through his freaking movies. Van Damme, like I said, a better track record. You know, when he had emotion, watch what was he had when he had the Wake of Death. That's what it was. I mentioned before. Wake of Death. Yes, or Six Bullets. Like I said, the only time where I saw Seagal where he had when he had emotion, right, was when, like I said before, in the beginning of Hard to Kill, when his wife got shot, he goes, "No!" That was like the only big emotion I got from him from that one scene in Hard to Kill. Even like Michael Jai White has done better stuff. There's Scott Adkins, you know, with Michael Jai White with Undisputed, right? The sequels, or Blood and Bone. And even Scott Adkins, you know, because like last year I liked him Scott Adkins in Day Shift. There was a vampire film with Jamie Foxx and Snoop Dogg. Scott Adkins was fun in that. And some other stuff that Scott Adkins has done I liked as well though, but Scott Adkins also does some crappy ones too. So, but no one's perfect. But they all have better track records than Steven Seagal does. He is the worst of direct-to-video action stars. He is the worst. Even Chuck Norris has done better with the Delta Force or Invasion USA or Missing in Action movies, right? Chuck Norris or Sidekicks or whatever. Chuck Norris has done much better than Steven Seagal does. Van Damme, even Chuck Norris, they would both hit Steven Seagal's fat ass. Hands down. Because Steven Seagal, like I keep saying, he says all this shit, you know, he's never humbled. all of these guys, like Van Damme's, like at least he was humble. He's been humbled, and this guy is just. All right, movie review. Gotta get to the movie review. So anyway, all that aside, which also how delightful, where the location we're being at. They give the subtext tells us what's the city but the country it's at. We see Paris, right? But of course it shows Europe because obviously if you don't have a brain, obviously you do not know that Paris, France is in Europe. Thanks a lot for that, right? Stupid. Yeah, because I do not know that Paris is in Europe. I thought it was somewhere else, like in South America, like Brazil or wherever. Or I didn't know that Paris is in the United States. So thanks for clearing out that it's in Europe. Like we're too stupid to know that Paris is in Europe. So we have these people get attacked, and this is dealing with this drug that's called CTX. And this drug, I guess it gives you superhuman strength and agility. And in order to tell if you're affected by this drug, watch the way they blink. The way they blink. It's not like how the way you usually blink, right? But take the blinking like it's going up and down, but the blinking like it's sideways. Wow. I thought if they use the alien thing, if you tell if someone is an alien, then probably that could have worked, but if it's a drug, you blink this way, not the usual up and down. And Steven Seagal, he just disappears for pretty much over half the movie, and it basically doesn't do anything. He does a slap. He slaps basically slapping with a woman basically, and he shoots 2 people and one other thing, and that's pretty much about it. So that's basically what he does. And they just try to throw all this stuff in this one movie. They try to thrust so many things in this movie, like with The Foreigner and the last one with Shadow Man, but the whole thing is basically this whole thing is this drug, right? And we get a whole bunch of people talking, a bunch of these random soldiers shooting, and a lot of them die. There's this one Asian guy who basically, which he doesn't pretty much come until to the third act, and he's a survivor, and the girl who was the lead with Seagal, and another friend of us, so that's Seagal's together, and but like I said, Steven Seagal, he just disappears for more of the majority of the movie. Yeah, freaking lazy ass. And the funny thing is with this whole thing, they made this whole thing do this drug, right, where it spills into the water. They put this in the water system, right, and how they stop it, which isn't fully explained though, but I guess they did stop it. I guess more by the end, where they blow up this computer, which Seagal, as they say, they blew it up though, but they don't fully explain it though. But when they do that though, that's never brought up again. It's never brought up, not mentioned afterwards, never brought up again. So, did they stop it? I mean, did the bad guys win, or what? They didn't explain it, they stopped it. They just blew up or by stopping it, they just blew up the computer, that's it? They don't fully explain it. And the lead girl, which I thought, she's one of the leads, but she dies. Gets her throat slashed. Oh, and one thing that was so annoying with this movie, I want to mention he does a slap. Seems he shoots 2 people. There's a slap fight with the girl. And he stabs one guy in the head, right, with a knife. But the thing is, there's one thing that was so annoying in this movie. Is every single time there's something an action bit, when Steven Seagal used the knife and stabbed into the head of one guy, we get this flashy white light. You can see throughout this whole entire movie. a bunch of flashy white lights, which I'm like, are you trying to blind me, right? Because if it does, it's working, so I'll have to watch this movie again. But thing is, are you trying to be like people to what's the way, not schizophrenia, but like having people have people's seizures or what's the term? Narcolepsy or lapse. It's a term where just like because somebody this flashing lights and it's like. Ugh. Are you trying to be like? It's trying to be like that forbidden episode of Pokemon with the episode with Porygon. There were so many flashing lights, that it gave all those people seizures and stuff. Is that what you're trying to do with this movie? Trying to show all these flashy lights to just in-your-face flashing lights wherever an action scene happens, whether there's a shooting or a fight, a fist fight, whatever. All these flashing white lights, Are you trying to blind people and trying to give them make them to have seizures and stuff? Well, it was starting to blind me, because it was so annoying. But I think that's probably a good thing because that way I don't have to see any more of this movie again. Jeez, man. It was so... God. Calm down. This film is getting my nerves rattled so much. It's giving me a freaking headache, like I said. I'm starting to get a freaking headache from this movie. Yeah, but also overall, Steven Seagal, he doesn't do jack shit in this movie. He doesn't do anything. Yeah, he just shoots two people. Basically sissy fight because he does this one woman or a fight. He's like, whenever he does a fight, right? He makes that kind of that same expression he does. That shit, I almost hit my camera. What it does is it's the exact same emotion. And why is this? He doesn't use any of these in this cover, and there's an explosion like that's not in the movie either. It's just a bunch of random people, all these soldiers, random people to search in. They get shot, and and it's trying to. It's just a big freaking mess. Is what it is. It's a one big giant mess. It's a train wreck. It's one That's what it is. This is just an atrocious train wreck of a movie. And then after all of that, like I said, they blow up the computer for all the water that was in the water, the drugs, and the water supply, but that doesn't come of it. They don't mention any of that again. And with this, I think it's the Seagal and the Asian guy, because the other friend that was with Seagal, he gets killed as well. The lady gets killed as well. Then the other woman, the bad guy, who's supposed to be the alien queen, was supposed to be in the original script, Like I said, I would have been cool to see that, like an alien invasion film with Steven Seagal, but no, he's just so gung-ho, not doing any. It's like he hates creature. It's like he hates creature feature movies. Like he didn't want, like I said, the same with Submerge in this movie. But all the funny thing is, he says he like kind of likes he shows the director a copy of Predator 2. I'm like, he likes Predator 2? Then why is he making an alien movie then? Because you even see he has like a gauntlet that has like a blade that comes out, kind of like what the Predator had in Predator 2, right? So you don't want to make an alien movie, but you show with a copy of Predator 2. We have the thing that kind of looks like the one the Predator uses. What is it? Okay, do you want to do it like an alien movie, or you don't want to? Make up your freaking mind already. Which the more they said, this is basically all Steven Seagal's fault. It's not the director's fault. Like he's being put through hell by this jackass. Being addicted to painkillers and all that stuff. Jeez, makes me want to be addicted to painkillers, but I don't take pills anyway. I don't do drugs anyway. I don't drink. I don't smoke either. I'm clean. This is the only thing I can use. To keep me sane around here, God. And it's like it's Seagal and the Asian soldier. I don't remember what his name is. They just drive off and that's it. if you don't believe anything, if I dare you to watch this movie. Anyone who has been watching any Seagal movies I've been reviewing, this is one of his worst. I dare you to watch this movie. You see how god awful this movie is, how atrocious, what a train wreck this is, and like I said, Seagal is barely in the movie. He disappears for good, like over like half the movie. And I said, once again, it's bad ADR. You know, they should just. They should just. I wish they would see if they go with the alien idea. I wish, you know. My God. Yeah, I thought it was done reviewing these after watching this movie, you know. But you know, I'm still keep on going though. But like I said, the next one, Flight of Fury, it didn't piss me off that much though. But they still were freaking lazy with using stock footage from other movies though, and still using ADR. You know, I mean, it was. Man. I don't know what I can say. I'm just so infuriated right now. This film just pissed me off to no end. This is like one of his worst movies. I didn't want to talk about this one, but you know what? During his movies, I gotta get through this. Perfect landing. Threw right in the freaking garbage can I have right there. I didn't mean for that to happen. But yeah, that was actually a perfectly good shot. I didn't mean for it to land there. I meant to throw it in the corner there where my door is. But I actually threw it in the garbage. But if you heard that, that's where it landed. Which actually that's actually fitting because that's where it should belong. It belongs in the freaking garbage anyway. So that was actually a perfect shot. Actually, it does belong in the freaking garbage. And this is the lowest rated of all the Seagal's movies. It has a 2.7 on IMDb. Yeah, 2.7. If you don't believe me, just go and watch the movie yourself. I dare you. I double dare you to watch Attack Force. You think all those other ones were shitty and so messed up, you know? You haven't seen Attack Force. I dare you to watch Attack Force. You see if that saying that that's the worst one he's done. I'm gonna say why because he disappears for freaking most of the movie. If he does, it has bad dubbing. Bunch of random people shooting. You know, they just dish the whole alien idea except for it's a drug. And if you do the drug, you can tell it by the freaking different blinking you do. Whoop-de-doo. And an ending is pretty much is not even an ending, you know. You don't know if the drug was actually destroyed, you know, that was in the water supply. They blew up the computer, but did that stop it? By stopping the whole drug in the water system, they just blew up the computer? They don't explain it? Did it's not mentioned afterwards? Or did the bad guys win? We don't know. So it's basically an ending that's not even an ending. And so much freaking blinking white light, flashing white lights, you know, every single time when an action scene happens. You know, it's so blinding, you know. I think this film wanted to blind you because they knew how awful it is. They did that on purpose so they can blind you and so you don't have to watch this movie again. Or were they trying to be like the movie of the forbidden episode of Pokemon with the episode of Porygon where it was so many flashing lights, you know, back then it caused people or kids, you know, to get seizures. I think this film wants to give me a seizure because I feel like it because I'm starting to get a headache already and I'm so enraged by this film. I feel like I want to get a seizure and be blinded at the same time. So yeah, I don't know what I can say on this film. I'm done with this movie. This is a piece of shit. It can kiss my ass. I'll never want to watch it again. Never. If they do, you have to pay me a freaking lot of money to watch that again. But who wants to waste their money on watching a shitty Steven Seagal direct-to-video movie? I wouldn't even want people to waste their money watching this. But hey, if you don't believe me, just watch it for yourself. I've given you fair warning. Fair warning that's for you to watch this. So yeah. So that's my review on Attack Force. One of his worst he's ever done. And like I said, the next one, Fly Fury, it didn't piss me off that much. It didn't make me so enraged. But the thing is, though, it was just another lazy movie, you know. But yeah, Shadow Man, like I said, it was so forgettable. I pretty much don't remember what the movie was about. For good reason. Forgettable, like I said. But yeah, that's Attack Force. God. I still have more to go. Jeez. All these movies he's done, and he's shit after shit. Like I said, I like Into the Sun, and then the ones that are coming up, I did not mind either, like Urban Justice or Pistol Whipped. But Flight of Fury's next, and then go from there, and then just I gotta calm down. I got. This is how bad this movie's done. I thought this film was gonna break me and not do any, stop the marathon altogether after this. But you know, I'm still keep on going because I'm doing it for you guys. You guys like to see me rant more on these movies, and I'm still going to continue doing it, even though it's worth almost losing my insanity on these movies. God, Steven Seagal, you jackass. Instead of eating McDonald's all the time, eat some of that piece of that humble pie right there. Be humble, admit that you are a screw up. And stop treating everybody like shit, But I don't think that's not gonna happen. So he's never gonna eat that humble pie that piece of humble pie anyway. At least Van Damme, at least Dolph Lundgren, or even Michael Jai White, even Chuck Norris, or Scott Adkins, even Gary Daniels. Even Gary Daniels have done better. He is the worst of action star direct-to-video movies. And this is one of his worst ever. But anyway, thanks for watching. Stay tuned for the next movie review, and we'll see you next time. Later. Fuck this movie. Kiss my ass.